soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force. You are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
After you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying you feel blue, you feel sad, you'll miss the dearest pal you ever had. There'll come a time, now don't forget it, there'll come a time when you'll regret it. Someday, when you grow lonely, your heart will break like mine and you'll want me only. After you've gone, after you've gone away.
Chris? Chris? Chris?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Dad. What's wrong with you, man?
It's afternoon. What are you doing?
School's finished.
So what? You just gonna lie in bed all day?
Give me a break. Jesus Christ.
Get up. Now!
Oh, thanks. Real mature. Fucking asshole.
Hi, sweetheart. Do you want something to eat?
I'm good, thanks.
All right, what?
It's almost 1 o'clock. You okay with him sleeping in so late?
Richard, just don't start.
Don't start. Mm-hmm. He's been out of school over a week now. All he does is hang around the house, play video games, and hang out with his friends. I thought you were going to go down to the recruitment office and enlist.
Can I take some time to think about it first?
What was there to think about? I thought you wanted to join the army.
He's right, you know. Okay? There's no rush.
You're taking his side now.
Why do there have to be any sides? He's only just gotten out of school. Just let him have a break.
So, what's your plan, Chris? You step up and take some responsibility. Help your mom and I out. Go get a part-time job. Start paying some bills around here.
I've been looking.
Yeah, not hard enough.
Dad, give me a break.
You're too soft on him.
Oh, great. You're gonna start on me now.
Hey, I just want what's best for him.
And you think the Army would be best?
Don't you?
Sending our son off to risk his life? No. Can't say that's something that I want for him.
He's always wanted to join the Army. He's talked about it since he was a kid.
Because you always talked about how you wanted to enlist. But you couldn't because of the injury. Look, all boys grow up wanting to please their father. He's trying to make you proud by doing something that you didn't get the chance to do.
Well, it sure doesn't seem like that anymore.
Maybe he just wants to let you know he's a grown-up. Look, don't you remember what it was like to be that age? Hmm?
Yeah, I was dumb as a box of rocks.
You were.
God, Karen, you know, it's an important time in his life, you know? Feel like if we don't give him some kind of nudge, he's just gonna spend years being a bum.
It's a weird time right now. I mean, the average person lives to what? 70 or 80 years old? Yet here we are, 18. How the hell can one false move at this age mean that the next 50 or 60 years are going to be a total bust? It's a load of crap if you ask me.
You know, in the Army, they say you gotta start young.
You're really gonna enlist?
I'm not so sure.
Well, if you want to talk to someone who really served to get an insight, there's an old guy who lives on the same street as my aunt. He was in the Army.
Oh, yeah?
They say he was there on D-Day. I think he won a Medal of Honor or something. Everyone calls him Hawkeye.
Hey, old timer. What's in the bag?
None of your fucking business, that's what.
Hey, no need to be rude. We're just here to help you carry that home.
Couple of Boy Scouts, eh? There's me thinking you were two rent boys out hustling for business.
Hey, fuck you, old man.
Look, before we go down this road, there's something you two ought to know.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
I'm mean, nasty, too old to take your shit.
Look at the mouth on Gramps. Yeah, you've been fun. Almost a pity to have to rob your ass. Give me your fucking wallet.
Afraid not, son.
Sorry, I didn't quite.
Yeah, you did. Now do yourself a favor and go back to the scout hut before someone gets hurt.
Only one who's getting hurt is you.
Damn it, fucking wallet!
Thanks. Is that your wife?
Sure is. Married almost 50 years.
Did she, pass away?
Yes. Almost 2 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Not your son?
Yeah. He lives in Connecticut.
So are you gonna call the cops or?
Why?
Those two guys, they should be in jail.
Cops don't give a shit about what happens in this neighborhood. And they sure as hell don't give a shit about a broken down old thug like me. So tell me something, kid. What are you doing here today?
I think I could learn a lot from you.
And what do I get out of the deal?
Well, what do you want?
Hey, did you see that yard?
Sure.
Yeah, a real shithole, isn't it?
I guess.
Oh. 0800 tomorrow. I want you to start mowing that lawn. When you're done with that, I'll tell you what you want to know.
I don't think that's, I don't...
Oh, guns don't scare you, but hard labor does.
It doesn't scare me, sir. It's just...
Well, good. I'll see you in the morning.
When did you first join the Army?
I was drafted April 25th, 1941. My first assignment was to the 175th Infantry Regiment, Company C of the 29th Infantry Division. Early in 1943, we were sent to Glen Spean, Scotland, for 5 weeks of training under battle-conditioned British commandos. I completed that training and officially became a 29th Ranger and returned to England. But I wanted to be reassigned to a more elite unit. So I volunteered to become a paratrooper with the 101st Airborne Division. The buck sergeant of the 1st Demolition Section had heard that I'd trained as a commando and had been a member of the 29th Rangers, so he arranged to have me assigned to them. Together we became known as the Filthy 13. Our journey began when we were stationed at a training camp in Essex, England, in the weeks leading up to D-Day. McNasty was our buck sergeant. He wasn't a big guy in stature, but he was one of the toughest men I've ever known. From day one, I knew I wanted to be like this guy. Nothing fazed him. Agnew was second in command. He was a real bull. He was the best qualified combat man I'd ever seen. He could fly a plane or run any kind of boat. Frenchie was married and had a son before he signed up, so he had a sentimental side. But he was one tough cookie. Chuck was a young kid, but he was very hot-tempered. He was sent to our unit because he was far too quick with his fists and no one else could handle him. Piccadilly Willie, he was a real ladies' man. At that time, Piccadilly Circus was a red light district in London, and he spent all his spare time cruising for whores. Ragsman got his nickname because he never took care of his clothes. I don't think he washed his fatigues even once while we were in England. Gugu was from Joliet, Illinois. We were going out through a pasture when Gugu tripped and fell into a fresh cow patty. After he got up, he led the rest of the column off at an angle. Later he said, "If you'd have found that Gugu like I did, ain't no telling which way you would have went." Dinty was a pretty quiet guy, but he surprised everyone when he took McNasty to task for throwing a towel of his in the stove. He never had much to say, but he earned the respect of the men after that. Lulip was a big man, about 6'1" and real intelligent. He was so flat-footed he walked like a duck. But boy, was he ahead of everybody else on all things physical. Peep Nuts had a voice that was a bit squeaky, just like a chicken. Peep, peep, peep. He was a little short, so the other units didn't want him, but he had brass balls. Joey was a guy of Polish descent. If you said you were going to charge into a building, he was right with you every step of the way. Max was as tough as a boot, and one of the best football players we had in the regiment. He would fight anything that showed up, but he was never the instigator. Then, of course, there was me. I was only 20, but once I got something in my sights, I never missed. They used to say I had the eyes of a hawk. I think you should be getting home.
Okay, sure. But we can talk again, right?
Sure.
How about tomorrow?
All right. Bring a set of shears.
Cheers?
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Thought you might like some cookies.
Thank you.
So, had you had any more thoughts about what you want to do now that school's over?
I'm still mulling things over, you know?
Yeah. Look, I know it must seem like there's a lot of pressure right now to make a decision, but just remember this. Some of the most successful people, they didn't know what they wanted to do when they were your age. And some people, they don't figure it out until much later in life.
I don't think Dad would agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Well, Dad, he's worried. You know, he sees a lot of kids lose focus after they leave school. It's hard to find a job. You know, some become disillusioned and they get into trouble. You know, he doesn't want that to happen to you.
It won't.
I know. But you know, if you want to find out what the best path in life is, there's really only one thing you need to figure out.
And what's that?
It's that one thing you feel the most passionate about. You know? The one thing that just means the most to you. Because once you know that, you know, everything becomes clear.
I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, you will. Don't worry. See you later.
Thanks, Mom.
Yep.
Hello?
Hey, Dad.
Anthony, is that you?
Yeah.
I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, sorry about that. I've been busy.
What do you want?
I'm just calling to see how you are.
Oh, cut the crap, Anthony. I didn't come down with yesterday's fall of shit.
Dad? You're gonna kill me.
How much is it this time?
20,000.
Jesus.
Fucking college basketball. Some 7-foot motherfucker throws one in right in the buzzer. It's my fucking heart on my chest.
What do you plan to do about it?
That's why I'm calling. Can you, help me out at all?
You think I'd be living in this shithole if I had 20,000 under the mattress? Get real, son.
What about your medal?
My medal?
Bet we could get a lot of money for that. Dad? Hello?
Hey, kid. Take a load off. Have a drink.
So what do you remember about D-Day?
The silences.
Silences?
Always in battle, there are moments of silence. Guns and bombs going off, the goddamn noise makes your goddamn ears bleed. But there are quiet moments between all that. everything would suddenly fall silent. The chaos rages. You don't have time to think. You're running on adrenaline and survival instinct. But in those silent moments, all you can hear is your own heartbeat. Your own breath. It's in those moments when you have time to think about what's really at stake. Before we parachuted into Normandy, we all painted our faces with war paint, like Native Americans. It was McNasty's idea. He had Native American blood running through his veins.
Take cover, boys. Cracks are coming. All right, calm down. Calm down. We're Americans. You speak English?
Yes, yes.
Where'd you come from?
The Nazis, they destroyed our village. They killed my wife. Don't hurt my daughter.
We're not gonna hurt anyone. At ease, boys. Aggie. Any Krauts follow you?
I don't think so, but we've been running for some time.
All right. All right. Come with us. You'll be safe. What the fuck? Where the fuck is that fire coming from?
It's up there! Stop it! Fucker! It's up there! Francie! Run the fucking tree!
Taking fire! Motherfucker!
Up in the tree!
Take it out! Take it out!
Fuck! Fuck you!
Mac, get up here! Mac, get up! Fuck it! Jim! Fuck you! Fuck you! I gotta kill you!
No!
Bob! God damn it, I'm trying to help you!
Papa! Non! Papa, réveille-toi! Réveille-toi! Le papa me laisse pas!
Alright, he's removing. Okay.
Papa, réveille-toi! Réveille-toi! Le papa me laisse pas! Papa! Papa, réveille-toi! Réveille-toi, j'ai besoin de toi, papa! Oh. Can anybody help, please?
He's gone, honey.
He's gone.
Can anybody help, please? Somebody help!
You gotta let him go.
No, 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 no!
Let him go. You gotta let him go. Come on. Come on. There's nothing you can do.
That's what it's like on the battlefield. Everything can change in a moment. On the one hand, you're relieved you have survived. Sometimes, well, you wish you didn't have to live on with those memories.
I feel like an idiot.
Why?
Shouldn't be asking you to relive all this.
Well, at least someone still cares about what we did, because I gotta tell you, kid, it doesn't take long to be forgotten. Hell, we were forgotten when the war was still going on. We'd lost contact with our commanding officers. They assumed we were all dead. We were stranded in rural Normandy without any support.
Was the girl still with you?
No. We dropped her off at a hospital in a nearby town the day after her father died. The day after that, we took a wrong turn. Later that week, we lost contact with our commanding officers and walked around for a couple of days. We kept our wits about us, but hell, even the Germans weren't out that far. All we ran into were fields and woodlands. And then one day, we happened upon this cabin in the middle of nowhere.
I don't give a fuck what you blow your fucking head off. I don't give a fuck.
All right. You speak English?
Yes.
What's your name?
Arthur. This is my wife, Andrea. And these are our children, Raphael and Marianne.
Family name?
Dubois.
You all French born and bred?
Yes. I was born in Paris and my wife in Strasbourg. We settled there in Normandy after marrying. Our children were born here.
All right. Frenchie, do a sweep upstairs. Make sure there's no unwanted house guests here.
You got it. I think all the unwanted guests are right here.
Hey! Let's keep it friendly here. We're not gonna hurt anyone. We're Americans, here to fight the Nazi bastards occupying your country. We're on the same side.
I understand, but please, this is my home. It would be disrespectful to go searching through my family's belongings.
Well, they won't be doing that. It's standard procedure to check the premises. Aggie, Hawkeye, do another sweep around here.
Sir.
You wouldn't have any tobacco, would you?
No. I do not smoke, no.
Well, I can assure you, Mrs. Dubois, that last thing we want to do is frighten your family. Me and my boys been walking here for days, and we haven't had any food or water, so this meal is very much appreciated.
And then after the meal you will leave?
Of course. Almost chicken that time, okay, huh?
No, this is the best damn food I ever tasted.
You fucking moron. You know, apart from some gone off half of a can of cheese, this is the only fucking food that we've had in a week. Of course it's the best fucking thing you've ever eaten.
Fuck you, Willie.
No, fuck you, you fuck.
You should relax. We'll be gone soon.
I'm sorry, but we are not used to visitors. We haven't had house guests for many months now.
Hey, Arthur, see that guy over there? His name is Frenchie.
You speak French?
No, sir. I was born in Quebec. It's in Canada. They speak French over there, but my folks moved back to the States when I was like 2 weeks old, so...
So not the most appropriate of nicknames, no?
No, I suppose not. Still, could be worse. Could be called Piccadilly Willie.
Why do they call you that?
I'll tell you, right? You know Piccadilly train station? You got these trains, they going in every fucking half an hour, all the time. Now, my own particular love carriage, it's the biggest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. I'm telling you. I mean...
Willie, that's enough.
What the fuck are you saying to me? What, you trying to tell me that this kid here, he doesn't understand what the fuck we're talking about? I mean, I lost my virginity when I was fucking 9. What?
I know what you're talking about. You like the whore, yes?
Smart kid you got there, Arthur.
You should mind his manners.
Give him a break. He's just a kid.
It's a nice painting.
Nah, it's a copy, so not worth much. It's called The Lady in the Field.
Not very imaginative. Just looks like a say what you see title.
If it was an original, it would be worth a lot of money. Monet is a very famous artist.
I never heard of him.
Someone said the same thing to me yesterday. I guess not everyone has an eye for art.
You had a visitor yesterday?
What?
You said you had a visitor yesterday.
Yes, a friend of mine visited.
Well, that's odd.
What?
Well, you said you hadn't had visitors for months.
So what of it?
That's no big thing. Just seems strange to say you didn't have house guests for months and then say someone visited your house yesterday.
I am just nervous, okay? It's not every day you have armed men burst into your home.
Why are you getting so worked up, Art? What's the problem? Is there a problem?
I don't understand what the relevance of this is.
Well, in our line of work, if someone lies about a little thing, you begin to wonder, can they lie about a bigger thing, too?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm beginning to wonder all this fear and nervousness your family are showing is it only about us?
What, do you think a bunch of Americans with guns isn't scary enough?
Well, some people think being a soldier is all about force and endurance. It ain't. It's about having the instinct to know when something ain't right. That way you can spot an ambush.
We're just a normal family here. We don't support the Germans.
I'm not saying you do. But do I know all there is to know here, Arthur? Shot.
Let's finish him off. Fick dich, Amerikaner. What did he say?
Something about dick. Yeah. I think he wants to play with our dicks if we let him go.
Fucking American perverts. So you speaking English, huh?
You wouldn't have to have any tobacco by any chance.
Fick dich.
Nah, didn't think you'd understand that. Let's see if you understand this.
You know, I don't think that got the point across. Let's try this.
Want me to put him out of his misery?
Yeah. Let him take the long way out.
Fucking bastards! Kill me! Kill me now!
When you get to hell, tell him the filthy 13 sent you.
We lost so many.
Yeah. A lot of our men were killed. We killed a lot of men, too.
What's it like?
To kill a man.
Yeah.
It's goddamn awful, that's what it is. The only thing worse is to be given a medal for it. It doesn't matter that the enemy has a different ideology from you. If you got any kind of soul, it's going to affect you. Truth is, we're not all that different. Doesn't matter what country you're fighting for, we're all just following orders, trying to put food on the table for our families back home. Yeah. This is the first time I've talked about this in quite a while. But there isn't a day goes by I don't think about it. Sometimes at night, I'll close my eyes. I relive those moments on the battlefield. They haunt me.
It's an outrage there's no support for these guys after the war.
Time marches on. The world changes, people forget.
It's a tragedy is what it is. You know, someone should write a book about what those guys did.
Why don't you?
English lit was never my speciality.
Don't put yourself down. I read some of those stories you wrote when you were a kid. They were really descriptive.
That was years ago. How did you read those?
Your mother showed me. She kept them all. She's got like a whole box of short stories you scribbled down.
I never even knew she kept those.
Maybe you should read them again. Might inspire you. They might remind you of who you were before the world told you who you should be.
That's pretty deep.
You're wondering about what you're going to do with your life? That's a deep question. It needs a deep answer.
True.
You know, if you think about the reasons we cross paths with people, maybe that's why Hawkeyes come into your life. Not because you're meant to be a soldier, but because you're meant to write about one. Make sure he's remembered.
Do you want to meet him?
So there's me thinking Pee-wee here has no direction in his life, and he brings you here. I guess he's made at least one decision.
I guess so.
So how did you manage to snag a classy girl like this?
I have my moments.
What was your first date like, hon? I'm guessing you wouldn't have been too impressed with cheeseburgers at the local bowling alley.
It was actually pretty amazing. I love stars, but in the city, bright ones are hard to find. Chris knew there'd be load shedding in his friend's area. You know, where the government cuts electricity in scheduled districts to conserve energy.
Right.
So, Chris set up a date on his friend's roof in one of those areas. He laid blankets, bought champagne, and my favourite flowers. After about 10 minutes, the power was cut and the sky lit up. And we spent the whole night drinking champagne and stargazing. He knew my brother, Alan, had died the year before. And I also told him I believe people become stars when they die. And at the end of the date, Chris pointed out a star and told me he'd registered it online as Alan, named after my brother. He gave me a certificate and everything. It was all official.
Pretty thoughtful of you there, kid. I'll give you that. I'm sorry to hear about your brother.
Thank you.
I lost my wife Teresa a couple of years back. Our first date was not as spectacular as that. I just took her to a dance. That's how people courted each other back in '41. Now the setting wasn't spectacular, but boy, was she a spectacular woman. All Teresa had to do was smile at me. Everything in life made sense. She wrote to me every day while I was away. Throughout the training, throughout the war. I didn't get all the letters, of course, but still, she wrote.
Did you marry before the war or after?
After, 49. Best decision I ever made.
I bet she didn't want you to fight, did she?
No, she didn't. But she knew it was something I had to do. It's the way I was made. So she accepted it.
Chris said you received a medal for what you did during war.
Medal of Honor. It's the highest award the United States can give it to military personnel. Would you like to see it?
Of course. Wow. It's beautiful.
Did you get this for taking out the sniper or the Nazi at the cabin?
No. That was for something else.
After you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying you feel blue, you feel sad, you'll miss the dearest pal you ever had. There'll come a time, now don't forget it, there'll come a time when you'll regret it someday. When you grow lonely, your heart will break like wine and you'll want me only after you've gone, after you've gone.
After D-Day, McNasty, Agnew, and I ended up in a hospital on the outskirts of Normandy. We'd finally been found by Allied forces after over a week in the wilderness. It had pretty much been turned into a military hospital. They were mainly treating U.S. and British soldiers who were wounded or ill.
You know what I could go for right about now, boys?
So, man,
American-style hot dog.
stuck here with all these ladies he's talking about sausage.
Who you writing a letter to, your boyfriend?
Touche.
What's his name?
Marlene.
Marlene. Yeah, he sounds real pretty.
Hey, man, I like a bit of hair, you know?
I bet you do.
Well, don't worry, boys. When you get back to England, I'll take you to my cabin. Jake's Bar and Grill. I'll get you deer and rabbit, fish. I remember a story where I went fishing one night and came back, threw the fish underneath the bed. Lord Willis's estate. Just come in the door, and who's knocking at the door? Only Leach.
Fucking hate that guy.
Major asshole.
He went from sergeant to major asshole.
Because they always promote the assholes.
Yeah.
Damn right, damn right. Anyway, Leach is shouting at me and his McNeese, have you been stealing fish? I says, oh, no, sir, no, sir. Meantime, all the fish are flopping and flapping underneath the bed, having a goddamn orgy. And I'm standing there, no, sir, we ain't going fishing.
Did he catch you?
No, he's left. So said the place smelled like a city dump. Yeah. Beer and deer, boys.
Beer and deer, man, amen.
That sounds good.
One American soldier positioned at the entrance, armed. That must mean there are other American soldiers recovering inside. Possibly British and other Allied forces too.
Should we call in an airstrike?
There's been no radio response. We will have to take them ourselves.
How do you propose we proceed?
With stealth. Our first target will be the soldier positioned at the entrance. But we need to ensure we don't alert those inside to our presence. Guns are out of the question at this stage. We need to employ other means.
Understood.
Excuse me, Doctor. I'm really sorry to disturb you, but I need to move the beds from Ward 2 to Ward 4, and I also need to administer the penicillin. So I'd really
Nobody
like...
needs to move anywhere. There's a complete backlog of prescriptions here.
If I understand what you're saying, but I could
Not
really...
at the moment, nurse. Nurse, can you take this down to Ward 6? That'll be all.
Shit. I forgot to ask him if he's any tobacco.
Put the gun down.
Fancy your chances of killing us both? Are you really that fast?
Fuck.
Even if you were fast enough to take us both out, how far could you really get? The Allies are all over this town. You're not gonna get far without running into one of them.
Put that gun down, or I will kill her.
Let the girl go. This isn't her war, this is ours. So let's settle it. You and me.
Drop the fucking gun, I will kill her dead.
Come on, let her go.
I'm going to count to 3. If you don't throw your gun to the floor, I'll fucking kill her. 1. 2.
3. Beer and deer, boys?
Beer and deer.
Yeah. Beer and deer.
Some soldiers only feel alive when they're on the battlefield. I never got a buzz from the things I did. Even when they gave me a medal for it, I felt no sense of satisfaction. This is the truth. The only time I ever felt alive was when Teresa was by my side. Every moment with her was a gift.
Thank you for sharing with us. I know it must be so difficult.
I'm so honored you've told me all this, sir. It really means a lot to me.
Well, if you only remember one thing from the things I've told you, let it be this. No one ever laid on their deathbed wishing they'd spend more time on the battlefield. The only thing a man on his deathbed thinks about are those he loved and those who loved him back.
Hey.
Hey.
Heard you went down to the recruitment office.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Not so good, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Listen, Dad. I'm sorry, okay, but I don't want to go in the army.
It's okay to be scared.
It's not that. There's another reason I don't want to do it.
Which is?
It's Jessica, Dad. I love her. Every moment we have together is like a gift, you know?
There's something I never really told anyone, not even your mom for a long time.
What's that?
You know how I couldn't join the army because I'd hurt my leg playing football?
Sure.
Well, I kind of faked it.
You faked it?
I mean, kind of, not really. It just, I mean, it's complicated, but I really did want to join the army. But the week I was supposed to go and do my medical, I found out your mom was pregnant. So, you know, I had a choice. And after thinking about it, I mean, there really wasn't a choice. The family was going to win out no matter what. There's no way I was going to leave her here to raise you by herself, and thought of leaving you alone for months on end. Just knew I couldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I mean, I've been a total jerk, man. I shouldn't have been pushing you so hard to join the army.
It's alright, Dad.
No, it's not. I've just been scared that you'd turn into some gangbanger or, you know, become one of those kids with no direction in their life. I mean, I know you're too smart for that. But still, you know, your mom, she helped me see that I was just really projecting my own fears onto you. And so, you know, I'm sorry for that.
You never have to apologize for caring.
Take one small piece of advice from me, though.
Of course.
Being in love is great. You and Jessica, you really meant to be together. Whatever hopes and dreams you have should really fit into your lives as a couple, you know?
You know, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But this past few weeks, it's become clear to me what I have to do. Hawkeye? Hawkeye? Wake up, sir.
Death. Death is the road. Life is the path. The soul is the guide. Now the brain thinks of death. The heart thinks of life. But the soul? The soul thinks of eternity.
You should know. He adjusted his will in the final week of his life. This next and final reading contains that very amendment. I leave my Medal of Honor to my friend, Christopher Summerby. I leave this medal to him because he knows the true meaning of bravery. Not just because he saved my life, but because he is brave enough to take his own path in life and be true to himself. I'll give you a moment, Mr. Summerby.
Thank you.
I wish that Franklin D. Roosevelt had lived to see this day. General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The flags of freedom fly all over Europe. For this victory, we join in offering our thanks to the Providence which has guided and sustained us through the dark days of adversity and into light.